Hello everyone, it's Myung Jan. Today I'm going to read S4 4032. The Witch Who Was Afraid of Witches, Alice Lowe. Pictures by Jane Manning. Chapter 1. The Witch Sisters. Wendy was the youngest witch in her family. She had the wickedest witch power, and she was afraid of witches, all the bossy mean witches like her two sisters. Her oldest sister Polly knew everything. She knew where to get the best sassafras wood for broomsticks and the best frog's toes for witches' brew. And she knew the best books for witches' spells too. One day Polly was going to the sassafras grove. Take me with you. And Wendy begged. Polly said, You're too young. You don't even have the right kind of wood in your broomstick. You don't know anything and you will never learn. Wendy's middle sister, Wag, knew how to do everything best. She flew the fastest of any witch in the valley and cackled the loudest. She cackled, Heh, 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 I'll get you. And she really got you. And she used the most frightening voice to make her spells work the best. Teach me how to say spells in that frightening voice, Wendy begged. But Wag said, Your voice is too weak. You don't even know how to cackle. Wendy didn't even try to learn spells. They wouldn't work because she didn't have a frightening voice. At night, Wendy's sisters had parties. Wendy sat at the top of the stairs, listening to the cackles of witch laughter. She wished she could join in. Sometimes Polly saw her and shouted, Spang again, off with you. It's past your bedtime. And Wendy crept into her cold bed, hugging her broomstick. She was afraid of the dark, afraid of witches. That's kind of weird, huh? Sometimes she tried to make up a spell to put on her sister, but she needed them to tell her the right words. At least I have you, Wendy said to her broomstick. You give me a little witch power. Then the day before Halloween, Wendy lost her broomstick. Neither of her sisters would give another. Served you right, they said. Wendy felt lost without it. Now she had no witch power at all. Chapter 2. A Ghost on the Doorstep. On Halloween night, Wendy's sister said, We're going to the city where there are more people to scare. Take me with you, Wendy said, please. How can you come with us when you don't have a broomstick? Polly asked. Can I ride with you? Asked Wendy. No, you'd make the broomstick too heavy. Stay here and don't let any trick-or-treaters in it. They eat our candy and score shaving cream on the rock. Wendy wasn't afraid of trick-or-treaters. She was much more afraid of witches. Turn off the light, lock the door, and put out the fire, Polly said. It'll look like nobody's home, okay? Wendy did as Polly said. She sat in the dark, shivering. She wished she had her broomstick for company. There was a knock on the door. Trick or treat, shouted a voice. Wendy called. There's nobody home. You're home, said a ghost on the doorstep. Well, I'm nobody, Wendy said. Is that what you're for Halloween? Asked the ghost. Are you nobody? Yes, Wendy said. But I'm dressed as a witch. Why don't you come trick-or-treating with me? Asked the ghost. I'm Roger and my best friend Billy. When trick-or-treating with these all the other best friends, let's follow them and scare them. That sounds good to me, Wendy said. Though I'm not very good at scaring people mostly, I am scared of witches. You catch on, said Roger. You just go woo, woo, woo. That's how ghosts go, Wendy said. Witches cackle like this. Heh, heh, heh. I'll get you. Very good, said Roger. You sound like a real witch. Do I? Wendy asked. I never thought I could cackle before, but I can be a real witch. Without a broomstick, I lost mine. If that's all you need, we have an old one at home. Come on, said Roger. Chapter 3. At Roger's house. They walked up a hill to Roger's house. Roger's mother gave Wendy hot chocolate and a candied apple and a broomstick. Roger said. Get on, let's see you ride. I'm not any good at riding broomsticks, Wendy said, afraid to try. I have no witch power. Take the broomstick anyway, he said. Wendy took the broomstick, but she didn't sit on it. This old kitchen broomstick wouldn't give her any witch power. Go on, sit on it, said Roger. It's fun. Okay, Wendy said. After all, Roger didn't expect her to do anything but pretend and have fun. She sat on the broomstick and said, Hey, 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 I'll get you. Then she gave a little jump. She took up so fast she hit the ceiling. That must be a magic broomstick, said Roger. Here, let me try it. Roger got on and said, Hey, 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 I'll get you. Then he gave a little jump, but nothing happened. Darn it, it doesn't work, he said. I'll try, said Roger's mother. She sat on it and cackled and gave a little jump, but nothing happened again. I'll try it again, Wendy said. Again she took off easily. She zoomed around and around before she landed. I guess I do have a little witch power, she said. I never thought so before, but I still don't know any spells. Then make one up, said Roger. Your magic. They made a really good spell pop into Wendy's head. She said it in a frightening voice. Frogs and lizards, toads and newts, buttons, raincoat, hiking bird, turn the ghost into a witch. Presto changeo, make a switch. Roger's robes turned black. Great, he said. I wanted to be a witch, but we didn't have any blank sheets. But I need a pointed hat. Oh, that's easy, Wendy said. I don't even have time to think about that one. Stew and brew and cat and bat. Give this witch a pointed hat. Oh, great, said Roger. Now let's fly on. Be careful, said the new witch's mother. Don't fly too fast. We won't, they said. We won't. As Wendy steered the broomstick out the window. First, they swept over trees and made the leaves fall off. They swept into the party where Billy and his the best friend were ducking for apples. Billy and his friend were so scared they ran home crying. Suddenly the clock struck midnight. I better fly you home, Wendy said. I want to come home with you and keep on being a witch, said Roger. You are a real witch, aren't you? Yes, I am a real witch. With my own witch power, Wendy said. I just found that out. And you helped. But I have to turn you back into a ghost and take you home. Your mother would miss you. Broiled figs and toasted toad. Turn this witch back to a ghost. Wow, Roger said. Thanks. And you can keep the broomstick. Thanks a lot, said Wendy. See you next Halloween. Wendy flew home and went to sleep without worrying about witches. She wasn't afraid of witches anymore. Chapter 4. 2 strong spells. Wendy woke up. It was still dark outside and her sisters weren't home yet. It's far too late for them to be out, she said. They may be older, but they have no sense. I'll have to teach them a thing or two. She took her time making up 2 spells. They weren't as fancy as the spells her sister Polly found in books, but Wendy knew they had special power because they were her own. Snakes and cakes and pumpkin pie. Oldest sister, you can fly. Salt and pepper, bouncing ball. Middle sister, you will fall. Oh dear, Wendy said. I forgot to say the spells in a really frightening voice. I hope they work. An hour later, her sisters came limping home. Wendy's spells had worked. The strangest thing happened, Polly said. All of a sudden, I couldn't take off. My broomstick was too heavy. I took off, but the wind blew my broomstick away. My broomstick blew away too, Polly said. We had to walk. Wow. Ow, my feet hurt. What? Said I. Feel funny all over, as if I had lost my witch power. Now I know how you feel without your broomstick. That's over now, Wendy said. I found a pretty good broomstick. That's just an old kitchen broomstick, Polly said. Well, it works for me, Wendy said. It couldn't possibly, said Polly. Polly got on, but she couldn't take off. I knew it was no good, she said. Walt got on, but she couldn't take off either. Then Wendy got on. She said, "Hey, hey, hey, I'll get you," in her own voice. Then she gave a little jump. Wendy zoomed out the window and back in. She had flown faster than her sisters ever had. How can it be? Polly asked. I thought I knew everything. That broomstick isn't even made of sassafras. How can it be? Walt asked. I thought I knew how to do everything bad. Wendy didn't even use a frightening voice. Wendy felt sorry for her sisters. You're probably tired, she said. Get a good night's sleep, and tomorrow you'll be able to fly again. In bed, Wendy made up two spells to take the spells off her sister. Oldest sister, you can fly. All you have to do is try. Middle sister, flying is fun. The spell I made is now undone. Chapter 5, Three Witches. The next day they went to the sassafras grove to cut two sticks for broom. This one is bad, Polly said. Now I'll be able to fly again. And she did. Walt found another stick. She sat on it and said, "Mumble, mumble, tumble, tumble," in a frightening voice. Now I'll be able to fly again. And she did. Wendy took off too, on an old kitchen broomstick. Wendy never told them about her spells. It was enough to know that her older sister thought she knew everything, but she didn't. That her middle sister thought she knew how to do everything bad, but didn't. And she never told them that she had found her own special witch power. She didn't have to. They knew she was different, and they treated her differently, just like one of them. The end.